We've already covered all the main tracks, so it's time to talk about the retro remakes. This list is based on how fun the levels are, and also how good the recreations are, and if they add anything of value. So with that said, let's get her ranked. 91, GameCube Baby Park. Mario Kart DS takes Baby Park and removes all the magic that made it so great. No giant bananas, no Bowser shells, and it's only 5 laps long. Lowering the laps and scaling the track bigger makes laps feel longer and more dragged out, and the lack of exciting items ruins the appeal. 90, SNES Bowser Castle 2. Bowser statue aside, this track is just as stupid as it is on the SNES. In fact, it's actually worse because the feather is no longer an item, so that dead end can't be jumped over. 89, SNES Vanilla Lake 2. The background looks pretty, but you can't fix a track like this. Ice blocks everywhere, water holes, boring design, it's a disaster. 88, SNES Vanilla Lake 1. Oh, you're never gonna believe this, guys. It's Vanilla Lake 2, but a teeny bit better. The level design is more fleshed out, and that's that. 87, DS Yoshi Falls. Remember Baby Park? Remember the part where you drive in an oval? Yeah, that's Yoshi Falls, but there's also waterfalls and speed boost. 86, SNES Mario Circuit 1. The first Mario Kart remake of the first Mario Kart track. The sand got a tan because it's brighter now. 85, SNES Mario Circuit 1. Wow, it's the same track, but kind of 3D. Yeah, totally radical, I know. Don't jump out of your shoes, jeez. Oh, and the sand, by the way, is a more accurate color to the original, in case you didn't pick up on that. 84, GBA Peach Circuit. It's a circuit, but Peach bought it because she's got all the coins. The track is more interesting than Mario Circuit 1, but not by much. 83, SNES Koopa Beach 2. Go in a crescent shape, jump over water holes, and win, because you're a gamer. 82, SNES Koopa Beach 2. Holy sh*! It's the DS version of Koopa Beach 2, oh my god! Now look, instead of raving about sand for the 8th time, I like the addition of Cheeps just bouncing on the water. Yeah, look at them go. Cheep. 81, SNES Koopa Beach 1. You got more islands, a fork in the road, and more interesting track design. You could say it's better than Koopa Beach 2. You could say that, and I do. I'm saying it right now. 80, SNES Rainbow Road. The Starry Night looks really pretty, but there aren't any real improvements per se. It feels empty without the thwomps as well. 79, SNES Mario Circuit 3. That absurdly sharp turn is still in this version. Let's spare the details since we've got, 7 zillion Mario Circuits to go. 78, SNES Mario Circuit 3. I mean, what more do you want me to say here? Just look at the track, maybe observe it, and make up your own damn ideas. 77, SNES Mario Circuit 4. You'll like this track if you're part of the Fun Turn squad, because the track layout feels more refined than Circuit 3. 76, SNES Mario Circuit 2. Oh ho ho, but it gets better because this track has an even better layout and a super wacky dacky duper jump at the end. I know I'm really jumping out of my seat in excitement. Woo! 75, SNES Donut Plains 1. Yeah, that's right. The DS version of Donut Plains 1 is worse than the GBA one. Yeah, sure, it's 3D-ified, but everything looks so washed out and bland. 74, SNES Donut Plains 1. The new background looks incredible, but it is also Donut Plains 1. At the very least, it's party looking. 73, SNES Donut Plains 2. It's the second track, but now there's no Monty Moles. Taking out all the fun, I see. 72, SNES Choco Island 1. The SpongeBob chocolate guy would just love this place, wouldn't he? There's some ramps and stuff, and the background looks delightful. 71, SNES Choco Island 2. Another chocolate track, but you drive through more mud and there's more ramps. Truly Levick. 70, SNES Choco Island 2. Choco Island 3D. That's right, guys, get your 3D glasses on for extra immersion. I like the piranha plants, and there's more control with which ramps you take. 69, SNES Ghost Valley 2. Rickety bridge at night. If you hit the side panels, they'll fall, so you might want to watch out for that. 68, SNES Ghost Valley 1. Oh, you're never gonna believe this, but this track looks like Ghost Valley 2. Yeah, that's right, it looks just the same, but now there's a couple ramps plus a shortcut if you're extra daring. 67, Ghost Valley 3. Ghost Valley the Third. It's always been the best Ghost Valley. There's holes in the planks, you got ramps, it's totally lit. 66, SNES Bowser Castle 1, otherwise known as the castle that feared circles. You drive and take 90-degree turns, and the thwomps are gone for some reason. I don't know where they went. 65, SNES Bowser Castle 3. It's Bowser Castle 1, but in a parallel universe that has more ramps and interesting jumps. But like the SNES tracks, they aren't nearly as fleshed out. 64, SNES Donut Plains 3. There's a slight improvement on this track, and that's the ramp over the bridge. You no longer manually jump over it, but maybe that takes away the fun. It really just depends on the person. 63, GBA Bowser Castle 2. Despite bringing a 2D track to 3D, it's fairly boring in visuals. There's some fun to be had with all the ramps and girder sections, but it's just a typical Bowser Castle. 62, SNES Mario Circuit 2. It's Mario Circuit 2, but with a gliding ramp at the end. This ramp does actually add enough to the track to not be put directly above the GBA remake. 61, SNES Ghost Valley 2. So the walls are much taller than they seem in the originals, and that strangely adds this sense of claustrophobia. I also love the boos in the background as well. 60, GameCube Yoshi Circuit. Everybody loves Yoshi Circuit, but something about this demake just feels off. You can still take one of the shortcuts, but the other one is blocked off. And I don't know, the track just looks really drab with the life sucked out of it. 59, GBA Luigi Circuit. The Luigi balloon looks even better now, and the rain effect is much more effective. There is definitely an uplift with this Luigi Circuit. It feels much more alive and well. 58, N64 Frappe Snowland. This one is fairly similar to the original, although the textures look a lot cleaner and nicer. I think there may be slightly less snowmen at the halfway point, but I'm not certain on that. 57, SNES Donut Plains 3. This was always one of the best SNES tracks, and it really delivers in this remake. We get to drive through the water at some points, and the road even glistens in wet dirt, which also makes the road slippery. Topped it off with the new Monimol sections that you can trick off, and you've got a track that feels new, but retains what made it so great. 56, GBA Bowser Castle 3. The blue-toned road matched with the orange lava always made for a track that stood out well. Bringing it more life in Mario Kart Wii makes it even better. 55, GameCube Luigi Circuit. Like most of the early retro tracks, it looks virtually the same as the original. It's a little more pixelated, but it plays and feels the same. 54, GameCube Mario Circuit. The little bumps at the end can now be tricked off, which really enhances this circuit since you have some sort of control of your driving. 53, N64 Choco Mountain. The textures are immensely better compared to the original, and it's honestly really bizarre how some of the DS retro tracks look the same, while this just shines in comparison. Outside of that, you know what you're getting into. 52, N64 Moo Moo Farm. One of my favorites in Mario Kart 64. The DS Moo Moo Farm nearly flawlessly recreates it to a T. The ground looks a bit better, I'd say, and the Monimoles aren't quite as obtrusive. 51, N64 Mario Raceway. The chorus looks a bit more vibrant, but it's virtually the same as the original without many changes. You can trick off this pipe now, which is pretty neat. 50, GBA Bowser's Castle 1. This was one of the more generic Bowser Castles in Super Circuit, but it looks pretty spruced up now. The jump ramps are now boost, and one of them turns into a gliding ramp on the second lap, which is a solid addition. 49, DS Desert Hills. The desert has never looked better and more refined. The hotheads look awesome this time around, and the track still retains that sandy vibe. 48, DS Cheep Beach. I always loved how the original track went with 3 different themes for this beach level, and seeing that expanded on even more is just incredible. We can drive through the water more easily, there's a few extra ramps, and the course just looks really, really good. 47, GBA Sky Garden. Something about keeping the vines 2D, but 3D-ifying everything else adds a lot of charm. The shortcuts are still present, and this track still rocks. 46, N64 Luigi Raceway. The one big change is you can drive on top of the bleachers, which is definitely a bizarre one, and something about the green colors they picked really made Luigi Raceway pop. This was such a good first impression for what Mario Kart 7 offered. 45, N64 Banshee Boardwalk. Oh my god, I can actually see the water this time! Banshee Boardwalk retains that creepy vibe while sprucing up the textures and keeping the level design the same. 44, N64 Kalamari Desert. A ramp has been introduced which allows you to soar over the train, but otherwise, Kalamario is the same relaxing course it always was. 43, N64 Bowser's Castle. The thwomps have been heavily updated, and the castle itself looks a lot more eerie than before. The difficulty seems to have been toned down a bit, but I think that's only because Mario Kart Wii's engine is a lot better than 64's. 42, N64 Sherbet Land. The icy roads in the original were a pain to put up with, and while they're still slippery in the remake, there's some semblance of control now. And the cave looks so much nicer too with added speed boost. 41. N64 DK's Jungle Parkway, the mighty, mighty jungle. DK's Parkway looks a lot cleaner, and the massive jump at the beginning is a lot smoother since the track was expanded more. The cave also looks like an actual cave now. 40. GameCube Peach Beach. Like most Wii tracks, the ramps can be tricked on, and that's the only major change. This has always been a really solid course, with the Cataquacks adding a good amount of challenge. 39. N64 Toad's Turnpike. This will be highways in 2040. The cars and trucks are still driving around, and now you can drive on the walls for some reason, and you can even glide off a few of the cars. The changes are pretty massive, but the lower difficulty does lose some of its initial tension. 38. GameCube DK Mountain. Everybody loves this one. You shoot up to a volcano and drive down the mountain. The updates include a few ramps near the top and some areas to half-pipe off. I love this track and all, but Double Dash's floatiness is what really made this one so fun, and that feels lost when you can't even trick off the mountain naturally and are forced to use ramps. 37. Wii Moo Moo Meadows. The track design is virtually the same, but the graphics have been improved drastically. Gone is the yellow road. It's been changed to a more muddy brown, which fits the theme much better. 36. GBA Mario Circuit. Instead of taking the easy route and updating the graphics on a flat GBA course, Nintendo flexed on us with their big brain ideas. Make a basic turn extremely dramatic by tilting it high into the air with ultra hands, and those are toys that Nintendo sold in the 1960s. I don't know how you even come up with that, but GG guys. 35. GBA Shy Guy Beach. What's great about this remake is how much more pronounced the cannonballs are. You really get a good grasp of what they look like, and the explosion is much more impactful. It makes for a delightfully good time. 34. DK Pass. The ramp at the end lets you glide, and the overall look is much more reminiscent of a snowy mountain with a touch of light fog. DK Pass is an overall solid mountain track. 33. 3DS Neo Bowser City. I always thought this course looked awesome before, but they managed to make it look even better. The only real notable change is the end where the puddles are removed in place of an anti-gravity section, but it didn't need much changing. 32. GameCube Mushroom Bridge. By far one of my favorite Double Dash courses. For the most part, it's the exact same track. The only change is you can't drive up the bridge anymore, and you can't enter the sidewalk areas. Those are barely deal breakers though. 31. GameCube Yoshi Circuit. Talk about an absolute beauty. Yoshi Circuit looks freaking phenomenal. The towns at the end, the running waterfall over the shortcut, the birds that fly away when you get close to them on the road. It's great stuff. It's really too bad that both shortcuts weren't included. 30. N64 Royal Raceway. The rose petals blowing in the wind does make you feel very royal and well endowed. This course got a massive makeover visually, but not much changed in general. There is of course the massive gliding section, but you also can't drive to Peach's castle anymore. That's a bit sad. 29. GameCube Baby Park. We all know Baby Park is known for its mayhem, and that's exactly what the background brings us. An endless amount of detail and just things to see. There's so much happening that I couldn't even begin to describe it. We're also back to 7 laps and 12 racers, and constant anti-gravity is natural chaos that the original was so well known for. 28. DS Peach Gardens. Peach's massively unnecessary investment is still one of the most creative Mario Kart tracks out there. Not much was updated besides some textures, the usual for Wii tracks. 27. GameCube Waluigi Stadium. By far one of the best stadium tracks. Waluigi Stadium adds a couple ramps and half pipes, but not more than that. The only downside is, like DK Mountain, the heavier gravity makes the jumps feel less impactful, but it's still an incredible track nonetheless. 26. GameCube Sherbet Land. I can't believe how creative this ice track became. Instead of falling into water holes and dying, it's transformed into an underwater racetrack which at some points has you riding on the sides of a glacier. 25. N64 Koopa Troopa Beach. One of the best beach levels out there. The shortcut ramp has been moved to a completely different spot. There's a glider ramp over the massive boulder too, but everything else is similar enough. It holds up surprisingly better than most N64 tracks. 24. SNES Rainbow Road. I really wasn't a fan of the original, but the Mario Kart 7 version really hits home this time. The thwomps cause the road to wave, which gives you chances for some tricks. The road is a bit wider as well, so while the challenge is still here, it's a bit more manageable. 23. SNES Rainbow Road. There's not much to add because it's basically Mario Kart 7's version with a new splash of paint. It looks freaking fantastic and plays exactly the same. I wouldn't want it any other way. 22. Wii Mushroom Gorge. The bouncing doesn't feel quite as bouncy, and I actually kinda like that. The Mushroom Cave also changes up the mushrooms a bit, and this is still an extremely interesting track to play on. 21. GameCube Dino Dino Jungle. The perfect collab does exist. Mario and big dinosaurs. The bridges are slightly wider and there's a couple new glider areas. The end adds a bunch of dark mud on the edges, and it actually fits really well with the theme. 20. N64 Yoshi Valley. Who would have thought this would be redone? This is one of those super weird N64 tracks. I'd never guessed that Nintendo would want to go back to this. And it's still incredible to this day. There's a cannon booster that was added, and some of the roads are a bit wider now. It feels much more like an actual valley. It's honestly too bad Lekatu saves you when you fall instead of falling all the way to the bottom. 19. DS Luigi's Mansion. By far the best ghost-themed track since we get to drive through parts of Luigi's heckin' mansion. It is strange that the portrait ghosts were all replaced with boos, but there's a couple extra ramps added. 18. 3DS DK Jungle. What DK's Jungle Parkway wishes it was. It plays and looks the same as the original, but everything has a more glossy touch to it. I also gotta say, that shiny spinning banana looks absolutely delicious. 17. DS Delfino Square. You drive around Delfino Plaza. What's not to love? The remake doesn't really do anything besides make the buildings look not pixelated, but that's all it really needed. There aren't too many tracks where you get to drive through a town. It's pretty invigorating. 16. GameCube Dry Dry Desert. I know, I can't believe I put a desert-themed track this high either. The added oasis at the end is such a wonderful and tasty addition. It adds so much life to what used to be just an okay track. 15. N64 Rainbow Road. Man, the first time playing this remake was incredible. Nintendo knew how damn long it was before, so they just made the whole thing one massive lap, but they changed everything else. The road looks glorious, coins rain onto the road, and the chain chomps are now chomp balls that are used to create waves. 14. Wii Grumble Volcano. Driving through an active volcano. Only a day in the life of Mr. Mario himself. You may not be able to do the ultra shortcuts like in Mario Kart Wii, but come on, just look at this place. Look at how freaking bomb these rocks are. It's like a wonderful version of hell. How do you even accomplish that? 13. 3DS Piranha Plant Slide. Yet another Mario Kart 7 track that looks and feels exactly the same, but it's still so gosh darn great. You drive around underground and dive into a water section, only to launch out of it at the end. The colors pop a lot more, and the water looks even better. 12. Wii Koopa Cape. Instead of electricity in the underwater tube, it's been replaced with just a normal tube. And I'm totally down with that. It's barely noticeable when the track itself is still just as incredible as before. 11. Wii Maple Treeway. Shrinking down and driving across the trees is truly magical, even in this remake. Instead of a wavy road at the end, now it's a gliding section, which just makes sense to include. You still drive through leaf piles and avoid wigglers. It's a fantastic trip. 10. Airship Fortress. There's a bit of a darker tone compared to the original, and that just makes this all the better. Not much has changed here gameplay-wise, outside of a few places to trick off of. You can't really go wrong with a Mario Bros. 3 airship transformed into a course. 9. Wii Wario's Gold Mine. Avoiding minecarts makes sense, but when you flip that idea and are incentivized to hit the minecarts, that changes everything. This one change plus the shiny coat of paint makes Wario's Gold Mine so good that it's hard to go back to the original. 8. GameCube Daisy Cruiser. How do you improve a track like Daisy Cruiser? Driving through the swimming pool is one way, and flooding the engine room is another. This track was destined to be recreated with Mario Kart 7's underwater driving. 7. DS Wario Stadium. I have no idea what happened here, but halfway through Wario Stadium, the track just turns itself sideways with these massive girders. Some people don't like it, but I just love how out of nowhere this is, and yet it somehow fits. It almost pays homage to Wario Coliseum since that entire road was also girders. And I haven't even gotten into the new water section at the end, or just how freaking smooth the rest of the track feels. 6. 3DS Music Park. Another Mario Kart 7 track that plays exactly the same, but now looks so much nicer. You still slide over the pianos and head bop with the plants because of how dang dank that music is. Nothing but smiles when playing this one. 5. Wii Coconut Mall. This is another one of those tracks where it doesn't need a lot of touches to still be a fantastic time. You still ride up the escalators, take shortcuts through the mall, and all that fun jazz. The ending is a glider section now, which makes sense, but that's about it for changes. Don't fix what isn't broken. 4. GBA Cheeseland. The original Cheeseland didn't really look like cheese, but the same can't be said for the Wii U's update. Now you can trick off the cheese holes, there's a massive chain chomp, and some additional shortcuts have been added if you're blessed with a few mushrooms. The music is infectious as well. You can barely tell this is a remade track at all. 3. GBA Ribbon Road. This is one of the few retro tracks that looks so radically different that I consider it an entirely new stage. The Ribbon Road is now held inside a massive bedroom, and the roads truly look like ribbons now. You've got toy Mecha Koopas running around on the track, and the segment that used to have a lot of boost has been replaced with a wavy road that you can trick off of. The toy aesthetic works so perfectly. 2. DS Tick-Tock Clock. This is what you call one hell of a glow up. All the rotating gears and clock pieces look absolutely dazzling now. There's now a boost ramp about halfway through, so you can choose to skip the rotating gears or not. All the ramps can be tricked off now, and everything about this one just feels so right. 1. DS Waluigi Pinball. Here's the funny thing, not much has really changed in this remake. The stage looks virtually the same, you still get the pinball item sound effects and all that. Waluigi's Pinball is just that good of a track that it manages to be the best remake with how immersive and fun it really is. Wow, that's a lot of retro tracks! When Nintendo makes another Mario Kart in the year 2029, I'll have to update this list, but until then, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.